You guys, I never planned on being this mom, but right now, this year, I am this mom. Hey guys, welcome. My name is Mandy. I'm a homeschool mom of 10 years who just makes videos on the internet about homeschooling and books. So I had a plan at the beginning of my homeschool. I told myself I was not going to be that mom that just puts a computer in front of her kids, that just has screens all day long. I've turned into that mom. So just as like a post-edit thing, okay, because I realized this as I was editing my video, I don't want you to feel like I think you're a bad parent if you use completely online school. This was just something that personally I didn't want to do. So I did want to make that clear. I am not judging anybody. If that's what works for you, do that. And that's really the point that I'm trying to make in this video. So I don't want that point lost. You know what I mean? I want you to understand that things change, situations change, and this is what fits our situation best now. So I'm not judging any of you. I'm not saying you're a bad parent if you use all online classes. So please don't think that that's what I'm saying here. It's not like my kids have video games, because we took those away like years ago, like over 10 years ago. Like there's been no video games in my house. I don't even have cable. We have a TV, but it's more of a, I don't know what you would call it, like a stereo. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. We had stereos. My TV is more of a stereo than it is anything else. My kids barely watch anything. They watch like one podcast. But here I am. I'm putting screens in front of my kid all day long for school. And sometimes I feel bad about it. But what I wanted to talk about in this video is why I'm not worrying too much about this, and actually the online courses that we're using, so you guys can see what we're using our screen time for in my house. Okay, so honestly, I said I would never do this. But we're here and I'm gonna go over it because I don't hide things, I don't gatekeep. I tell you guys what we are actually using because I feel like that's really the best way to tell people about classes and to help other people. So one of the things that I have found out just through studying my child is that he just learns better independently. He does not need somebody holding his hand through a course, and actually he works better without me in a lot of courses. In some ways, I actually slow him down. He's a very advanced learner, and he likes learning things on his own. Knowing this about him, knowing how he learns, that is an important factor here in helping your child learn and go through homeschool. So let's talk about these online courses that he's taking. Most of these he does completely independently of me, but I'm more of what I like to call the homeschool manager of it all, okay? So like I have my hands in it, I know what's going on, I know what he's learning, I know what his assignment is. I'm grading some of these things. Not everything is auto grade, but a lot of it is. So I'm gonna kind of go over each of these so you know exactly what's going on in each of these classes, okay? All right, so the first one is biology from Apologia. I have done an entire video on this, like a video review. If you want to go and look at it, I will try to remember to put the link in the description for you to link you back to that. I love these new like auto pace classes that they have. These are pre-recorded videos from their teacher, their instructor, and I believe she actually wrote the book herself too. So we have a very experienced teacher here. She is extremely knowledgeable, and she actually does the experiments on video with the kids. So if I don't have a piece of equipment, okay, like if I don't have like a specific microscope slide that they're looking at for the day, she will have it on that video and he can still do his lab report just like normal just by watching her. I love this. It has an auto read of the textbook for the kids. All they have to do is follow along in their notebook. It's so easy. That class is great. I love it. He spends probably about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on whether or not he has an experiment or a study day or whatever, whatnot. Yeah, it's not difficult at all. He's doing a great job at it. It's more along the lines of like an honors or an AP type of course. Love that. He loves this course, and actually this Apologia Biology is his favorite course of the year so far. This next one, you guys hear me talk about a lot, and it is Redefining School's C.S. Lewis literature course. He has been taking Redefining School courses since he was in grade 6. So this is his 4th year, and he is with the same teacher and a lot of the same kids that he went through the course with in grade 6. So they've kind of like followed each other all the way through, and they kind of like grow through each grade together. I love that. So he knows a lot of these kids. He's got to talk with them for years. Mrs. Mindy is a teacher down in Florida, and she is teaching actually in the school system and online. She's a very busy lady. But she loves these kids, you guys. And this is a Christian course, and she has been doing literature courses for several years now. She's very experienced in what she does. She's very knowledgeable. And she's a personal friend of mine at this point, and I just adore her. Her classes are so much fun. They meet together once a week for a live Zoom class, and they have assigned things all throughout the week that they have to do. So this year he is in her C.S. Lewis class, and that class has been so fun, you guys. I bought all the books for it, and I've been kind of reading it too along with him because it's just fun to know what he's learning and to be kind of immersed in that as well. These courses are great, and he gets to do live classes with kids, so you get that socialization aspect of schooling in there too. So he gets to connect with kids all over the country and even all over the world if they have somebody who is not even in our country in the class, because all you need is an internet connection. So he's got to meet all kinds of kids in all walks of life. And I think that this has been so much fun. They get to share their writings, their papers, their poems, their thoughts, and it's all guided by a very experienced teacher. Spanish, the class that is the bane of my existence right now. We're doing Spanish online. We're doing it through BJU, and they do it through the Homeschool Hub. It's not BJU, okay? I don't have a problem with BJU. We've used all kinds of their courses before in our homeschooling journey. We've used their history a couple of times before I found Generations. I don't have a problem with BJU. I've done all their book stuff. It's the Homeschool Hub that drives me bonkers. It's just because of the layout. It's the layout. I have a video on it. Anyway, So I think that doing Spanish online has been a lifesaver because I'm not a native Spanish speaker. I took 2 years of Spanish in high school. I had to know Spanish because I taught in Florida. I had to know a lot of Spanish to be able to communicate with the kids down there. But a foreign language is one of those things, if you don't use it constantly, you lose it, And unfortunately, I've been married now for 20 years. So I haven't been in Florida for 20 years. I don't remember Spanish. So because of that, having him do Spanish online with an instructor has been the best option. So this has been a great course. This is actually his second language. He took 2 years of Latin before this, but because he didn't take Latin in high school, it didn't count for his foreign language for the state regulations. So he has to take a different language, and he agonized over which language to take for, like months. He wanted to some of the languages this child wanted to take, you guys. So if your kid wanted to take a language that made you feel like that, let me know down in the comments, because I got a request for some of the craziest languages from my kid. Let me know what language made you go, are you serious? My oldest, he took 2 years of Japanese, believe it or not. Okay. So we're taking Spanish. He does Spanish online. The next one is IEW Structure and Style. So that is their writing course. That is the backbone of our language arts curriculum for us. So what makes up language arts? Let's go over that really quick first. You've got 4 main components. You have grammar, spelling, reading or phonics, depending on how old your child is, and then writing. Now, these are all going to be really fluid depending on what level your child is and what, like what they're actually learning at the time. So be flexible with that. You're not going to be teaching this. You're not going to be teaching grammar and spelling to a first grader or a kindergartner. That's going to come later. But I have a high schooler, so we're doing all 4 of those, okay? So the backbone of our language arts curriculum is structure and style, because we do mainly IEW for language arts, and we're doing their spelling and their grammar as well. And then we use, of course, Mrs. Mindy's Redefining School for literature at the moment. So what we do is we do the streaming option. I just love these courses. So Monday and Tuesday is a pretty lengthy video from Mr. Pudawa. It's broken up into 2 sections. Monday's part 1, Tuesday's part 2. So it's not too overwhelming, but it really prepares him for those higher level classes when he gets into dual enrollment in college. He's going to have to learn how to sit for longer periods of time and listen to a lecture. So I feel like it really gets him practice in that, in sitting, taking notes, learning how to do all of those things. Mr. Pudawa's classes, those IEW courses like University Ready Writing, the Introduction to Public Speaking, those are really good college prep courses. Highly recommend those. That's what really helped my oldest child after he graduated high school. Perfection, guys. Absolutely perfection with those courses. He was so far ahead of his same age peers in his classes. So highly recommend those. I'm definitely going to be putting my youngest through them after grade 10. Definitely grades 11 and 12, we're going to be doing Intro to Public Speaking and University Ready Writing, because that's the ticket right there to college courses. And again, those are online. So Monday and Tuesday, he's online watching those videos. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, he's doing writing. He's actually doing a lot of the writing in the assignments, but Monday and Tuesday, we've got videos online. And then, of course, teaching textbooks, which is usually the first thing he does in the morning after Bible. It is like a solid hour of geometry. Right now, he's in grade 9. He's doing geometry, but he's a year ahead because he's my smarty pants. So he is a year ahead. He is actually doing 10th grade math in 9th grade. So he does he's on there about 45 minutes to an hour each morning, which is okay. That's fine. He can handle it. But yeah, that's a full hour on the computer almost every single morning, first thing. But again, I'm not a math teacher, and math is where I struggled the most at in school. So I did not feel comfortable teaching math. They do not take after me in that aspect, which I'm really glad. I am more of a English writer type of person. I do really well with like history and literature and writing and grammar, not so much in the math and science. So that's where I excel. But my kids are kind of flip-flopped. Both of my kids do really well in math and science. So they're kind of, the opposite side of the brain, which is fine, because there are these online options that help us with those places where we feel a little bit inadequate or we want some extra help. I am so glad for these type of curriculums because they are just so helpful for me. And I don't have to do a whole lot. So again, I'm kind of like the manager of the situation. I don't have to do a whole lot to get through this, which is great. I love that about this curriculum. I love that I just kind of have to open the book, make sure he's doing his assignments, which he always does. I hardly ever have to check that. And I just grade the test if it's not auto-graded. But a lot of them are, like teaching textbooks, Apologia, those are total auto-grade. Mrs. Mindy has these auto-grade features where she will, well, it's not auto-grade, but she will actually read the papers that they write and give you feedback, which is great because I got to kind of see different points from a teacher who is really, really good at literature. Like that is where she excels, and we got some really great feedback, and it kind of helped me too, so I could kind of see where my son's strengths and weaknesses are, just to make sure that I'm not being biased as his mom. You know what I mean? Although I feel like at this point, I'm not really, like, I look at it really neutrally because I want him to excel. You know what I mean? So that's really important to me. Spanish, a lot of Spanish, I have to actually grade myself. So because they're using the old school stuff in the homeschool hub, I actually have to do a lot of the grading. So his assignments, his tests and things like that, although he prints them out online, I actually have to do the grading manually for that. So not a whole lot for me to do with these classes, and that's a big chunk of my day. So the great thing about these classes, though, guys, is I get my time back. So I now have time to read more books and to do housework or prep work or laundry like I have to do today, or cooking, which I do a lot of because we are a ingredient household because I've lost my ever-loving mind. I would like to know down in the comments, especially if you have high schoolers, how much of it are you doing online? Because we did not start doing a lot of online school until the kids got to high school. Most of their classes were actually book classes, and I always said I would never do this, but here I am. Let me know down in the comments and make me feel better and tell me that you guys do online classes, because sometimes I feel a little bit guilty. But I know he's going to be doing a lot of this in college, so I also know it's good prep, and it's not like he's watching a TV show or YouTube, you know what I mean? He's not mindlessly scrolling on silly things. He is actually doing work, and he's learning at school. Sometimes I just feel guilty, you know what I mean? So let me know down in the comments, make me feel a little bit better, or just tell me I'm a terrible mom, like a lot of people do, especially on Instagram. It's wild over there, guys. It's wild over there. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and happy homeschooling.